Protean eGov is the company on our radar. Now, as we know, this company implements digital public infrastructure services. So they are a leading PAN service provider as well. They have incorporated a subsidiary in UAE as a holding company for their international business. To discuss more on this development and other business opportunities, we have Suresh Sethi, who's the MD and CEO at Protean eGov Technologies, joining us. Suresh, thanks a lot for joining in. I want to first ask you about the business growth. The first half of the year, you saw your revenues grow at about 36%. What is the expectation in terms of the second half? Do you think you can maintain this kind of trajectory? And what are we looking at for the full year? Suresh, I think you're on mute. If you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, good morning and thanks for having me here. From a business perspective and the growth that we have seen in the first half of the year versus last year, we clearly see that digitization and increasing adoption of digital services is what is propelling the growth for us. So while, as you mentioned, there have been strong growth factors of 36% compared to last year in the same period, we clearly see that all our underlying business drivers are growing strongly. Be it on PAN, be it on pension services or the ID services, and we expect the momentum to continue for the rest of the year.
Okay, so any numbers you can share?
We don't have any projections to share at this stage, but yeah, the underlying business drivers continue to grow strongly. And as I said, it's a larger macro phenomena linked to Digital India and the growth as such, which is coming out of there. And this is clearly all indicative and correlated.
Okay. On the margin front, there's been some amount of pressure. Can you explain that to us? Because this time your margins fell to about 20%, but you used to enjoy 22% margins last year. What are the pressure points now and what's the expectation by the full year?
So what we have done over the period of last 2 to 3 years, we've expanded into new lines of business. While the company historically has been strong in creating e-governance platforms, providing digital identity to the consumers, we are parallelly getting into empowering digitization of enterprises where we are building the data stack and digital onboarding services. And we've launched a new API marketplace in that space. So there has been a significant investment in people and in resources who are now creating open source protocols and technologies within the organization, full stack engineers. So part of the margin pressure has been because there has been a one-time investment in expanding teams to cater to the new lines of business, but we expect these to give us the returns as we go forward.
All right. Hi, Mr. Sethi. Good morning, and thanks so much for joining in. This is Nigel on this side. A couple of quick questions. One is you've incorporated a unit in UAE. What's the game plan out there? And also, you've made an investment of around 15 crores in ONDC. So tell us the plan out there as well.
So Nigel, clearly, as I mentioned, we are in the space of creating digital public infrastructure. And as a company, we moved beyond BFSI. Our earlier assets were in the space of taxation and pension. And now we are looking at a multi-sectoral DPI contribution across digital commerce, across areas like mobility, health, agriculture, and education. As we look at the DPI adoption in India and our proficiency in that, we are looking at taking the same across to global markets, especially developing countries which are at the cusp of looking at creation of digital infrastructure at the foundational level. Our subsidiary in the UAE is a direction in that step. We are putting up a holding company over there, which will help us to create operating units in multiple countries, especially across the developing markets. With regard to ONDC, it has again been a strategic investment for us. As you know, we are contributing and powering some of the building blocks on which ONDC or the digital commerce ecosystem is running. And for us, it's a strategic investment into the network facilitator who is governing and building the entire network in that regard.
So how much would you own now in ONDC? Mr. Sethi, morning, Prashant here.
Yeah, Prashant, morning. So we have a 5.56% holding in the ONDC cap table as of now.
Okay, all right. Just a quick point, a lot of these deals, right, when you are able to go to other markets through this UAE subsidiary, this would be done government to government and then you sort of, Protean would be roped in to execute? Or no, I mean, you go and pitch. I mean, how does this work?
So, Prashant, there are multiple aspects over there. Actually, it's a bit more, I would say, detailed. A lot of these countries today need a lot of advocacy and understanding of how digital public infrastructure needs to be created. And we are, one, engaging at advocacy and knowledge sharing level. And then you are right, there could be, again, multiple options. It could be multilateral funding. It could be country-to-country funding. So in each case, the association differs. But yeah, at a digital infrastructure level, these are mostly government-driven, and therefore our basis government issuing tenders in this regard.
Just one last question from my side. For the local business, right, what is the market opportunity? Digital public infrastructure, I mean, I think we are the best in the world. I mean, India, in terms of the reach, in terms of penetration, has done fantastically well to push that, and you've been a part of it. But, and there'll be new things like ONDC and, there'll be more rails, digital rails built. But as you see right now, what's the total opportunity? I mean, if you can put a number to it, where you can kind of bid and participate to get a piece of the pie.
So, Prashant, one is our traditional businesses. Again, there are definitely headroom over there. I'll quickly take 2 minutes on that. So on PAN and pension, again, there is significant, pension is an underpenetrated society for us. So today we have around 6 crore accounts put together between NPS and Atal Pension Yojana, and huge opportunity to further grow that business. PAN, again, is not a saturation ID, so you only get it as you come into working stage in your life, or you open your first bank account. And therefore, again, a huge ability to issue more PANs every year, year on year. But coming to the new DPIs, if we look at areas like ONDC, digital commerce penetration in the country today is hardly in low single digits. We are talking about 4 to 5%. And interventions like ONDC are significantly going to open that entire ecosystem. And there are market projections to say there could be a 5 times growth in penetration by the year 2030. So as we are providing services at the infra level, which is more at the building block level, plus we are providing services to power the enterprises which come onto these ecosystems, we see a double growth coming from both of those areas into our business lines.
All right. Well, we'll end it on that note. Thank you for giving us a quick snapshot on your business.